the brethren of Nostradamus, who fits in the category of the soothsayers, the magicians, and all of this. They was not able to interpret Nebuchadnezzar's dreams or vision. None of them. So why do we come and we in this modernized world where we say we know so much and sit up and embrace Nostradamus, who didn't say it came from God? This is the mindset of people who hate God and despise his word. But yet they eat his food, drink his water, and go abuse his people, and then shout out to the world that said we is followers of God. As a lie and the truth is not in them. I'm telling this. They said everybody after us, look at your record, look in the mirror sometime at yourself. Quit sitting up telling lies or falsehoods, talking about the people, and think, because when you speak some against one man and go speak another lie against another man, and another lie against this nation, another lie against that nation, you wagging a tail behind you that identifies who you is. You point your finger at this man, you point your finger at that man, you point your finger at the man behind you and back on the left side of you, and the nation in front of you and behind you, but you point them only at a certain origin of peoples. That's become your tail. That's become your identity part. This is what you look at. Anytime that come a ridicule of a certain peoples of being a transgressor in this country, we look at your record. Your record is for all. I sit and I look at another part of the episode of happening in the United States of America. Gilbert Arena comes in with 6 unloaded guns, so they say. Unloaded gun is not a weapon. If you don't have the bullets in a gun, I don't care how you sit up there and say it is, that shoe you got on your feet is just as deadly as that gun. You can lie and say it is, but it ain't the difference. Yes, it is. The shoe that you have on your feet is just as deadly. The chair that you sit in the locker room is just as deadly as an unloaded gun. Because anything around you, you can use it as a weapon. What I said is, I still bring this up. When this nation is provoking peoples into anger, causing them to act out more against the United States of America. When you take and you see all of them bullet cases, them brass cases in front of them rifle bullets laying out in the street in Iraq, where black was slaves, about 27, I believe it was, I don't know, but they enslaved so many Iraqis in the name of peace, who was unarmed, no fighting soldier. And the government said that they messed up the case. Well, how can we sit here and say that? All this bloody shit. How come he can't give an account of this man went in the gym with six guns but no bullets here? Who is the most sinister mind of them? See what I'm trying? You got a tail you're dragging behind you. Make sure that your tail is clean back there you're dragging behind you, because every time you say something, you're being judged through your own mouth, not because of what we believe in you, but we're looking at your record behind. You can say anything and fly out your mouth, but your heart is where the evidence lies. Did this. And then after I looked at Daniel and looked at chapter 3 in Daniel, where the 5 children was put in the fire furnace, which is a connecting part of the people being bound and tortured and shot in the head in Iraq, I said, my God, how did they torture the people? How did you see evidence of torture on those people all of 2006 if you didn't know what way they were tortured? If you torture them by waterboarding and shot them back here, you don't see no evidence on no waterboarding. But when you read Daniel chapter 3, and understand the significance of that when he said he put them in the fire furnace. Apparently, those peoples was put and burnt their skin off them, and to make them abandon the law of Moses. And all of them that held their integrity after being burnt and tortured, they're bound, shot in the back of the head, and killed. Just reading them peoples over there do not want to give up their salvation. They're losing their order is one thing. They losing their life is another thing. But to take and lose, go for broke and lose your eternal life is a travesty. So it's best to lose your oil, lose your life, and gain everlasting peace in the hereafter. They have to hold on to their integrity. They have to maintain their integrity towards God and do not abandon the law that God gave to Moses to give to all of Israel to honor in Horeb long before I was born. But I say this, he had a defining moment in history. Daniel said, God is the one speak to us. Jesus said in St. John that it comes from God, the Father. He is more than I is. Read from St. John chapter 14 all the way to chapter 16. But this is part you find in 14. Well, Jesus said the Comforter will come. Revelation chapter 1, the first verses, said God gave Jesus the power. That shows you there is two people, that there is a Father and a Son combo. So you have to honor both of them. Well, what we see, the ones that serve him, God, don't want to honor Jesus. They want to honor Moses, but they don't want to honor Jesus. They want to serve God halfway. But you cannot serve him halfway, because Jesus was the utmost sacrifice to cause all men upon this planet to receive eternal life, to be a part of eternal life. This is what Jesus was, sent by God the Father in heaven, that all men will receive eternal life. The Gentiles was not in the book of life, but he had to create a pathway for them to be placed in the book of life. St. John 15 tells you that they have no cloak to hide behind, because he had came and they had seen everything that he had done, so they had no cloak to hide behind. Exempt them from sin, what we didn't know. Well, I'm gonna get started on this. I stopped the other day on this episode speaking concerning the chart that I have behind me. The chart that I have behind me is after Jesus had gone back to his Father in heaven, which showed up in Revelation 17, 1-18. Mr. Babylon, who is the United States of America. Well, in doing so, the connecting parts of this begins in Daniel chapter 2 and extends always all the way through the chapter 12 of Daniel. It has 12 chapters. Done so in this episode was revealing the United States of America at a time where they would have gone, the industrial would be failing them, and they would need natural resources, which was in the Middle East, which is known as crude oil. And by them running out of oil over here, the industries would begin to shut down, and there would be a vast economic downturn here in the United States of America and in the empires of the Gentiles. So God used these charts here in Daniel, where you see the horns, and then 2, to identify, this was before Jesus was born, to identify the United States of America. And in the Revelation chapter 17, he used these same horns in 13 and 12 to identify Jesus talking to him. In other words, God talking to him on this side of the cross and Jesus on the other side of the cross.